Dear friends, I have been very much interested in speaking to people on spirituality. Of course, spirituality as relationship. For me, spirituality is a sense of being related to the whole of reality. When I say the whole of reality, it begins with God and everything that is created by Him. Human beings and nature, and our interrelationship with the whole of reality is what spirituality means. And relationship is basic to life. We cannot conceive of life without relationship. If that is so, spirituality has something to do with the relationship. And in fact, I would say relationship is spirituality. And what do I mean by this particular phrase, spiritual? Relationship is spirituality. Relationship is not spirituality just because it is a relationship, but relationship qualified by a few phrases or few characteristics would make that relationship a spirituality. I will just give some 5 or 6 characteristics of this relationship that would make a relationship spiritual. First, in any relationship, if there is truthfulness, that particular relationship is capable of becoming a spirituality. What do I mean by truthfulness? We all know that we are what we are in front of God, and we don't need to pretend to be different from what we are. A number of other things can be said. I think this is understandable enough. The second characteristic that I would attribute to this relationship in order to make that relationship into a spirituality is faith-filledness. What does it mean? Faith-filled reality is something much deeper than just the peripheral, just the surface. If a person is a faith-filled person, he has a very deep spirituality, we would say. So in a relationship where there is faith, that relationship is qualified to be spiritual. A third characteristic, when relationship is also filled with hope. A relationship that does not present hope, a future, something new, cannot qualify itself as a spirituality. A fourth characteristic of relationship would be responsibility. In my relationship to each other, between me and God, and between me and nature, between me and the human beings, if I am not responsible, if I don't take responsibility for what happens around me, then it cannot be a relationship. And that relationship does not qualify as spiritual. When you take another characteristic, relationship is also dynamic. A static relationship does not allow life to come up, life to flourish. Rather, it leads to a kind of death. But any relationship that is dynamic has the capacity to become spiritual. So my dear friends, now I have given you 6 characteristics, 6 qualifications for any relationship to become a spiritual one, a spiritual reality. A relationship that is truthful, a relationship that is, as I mentioned, faith-filled, a relationship that brings hope, a relationship that is responsible, a relationship that is dynamic, and to add one more, a relationship that is loving, cannot but be spiritual. And I would like to add one more comment on this. A person who is truthful in relationship cannot say that I am not loving. Each of these characteristics of relationship, they are interconnected. The moment a person says he is truthful in a relationship, he will be loving, he will be responsible, he will be hope-giving, he will be dynamic, etc., etc. So, my dear friends, now let me conclude with this particular thing, that when there is a relationship, and that particular relationship is characterized by those 6 characteristics of being truthful, being faith-filled, and being responsible, being dynamic, and opening up hope and future, and lastly, it is loving, that is spirituality. So when I said in the beginning, spirituality is a sense of being related to the whole of reality, this is what I mean. And today, in this society, we need such type of a spirituality. Not a pietistic one, but much more life-oriented spirituality. Thank you.